Never be a better opportunity.
We Gucci? It's all good? Good.
There'll never be a better opportunity for me to wear this in context.
You're now listening to the Narrative Podcast, hosted by Ruben Arthur and Reginald Miller. They're here to correct the narrative.
Oh my God. Right,
So we don't get into the hot topics.
let us get into let's get something that we can talk about then.
Yeah, bro.
First and foremost, Rich, how are you, man?
I'm nice, man. I'm nice.
If you notice, I start every episode the same way. I always ask how you are.
Do you know what? I respect that. I did notice that when I was doing the edit. I was like, it's a good guy.
Yeah, it's because I care about your mental health, man. I care about black men. We are joined by, I'd like to say, someone that we've known for a very, very long time. Training in the place that we've trained in, seeing the things that we've seen, having an appreciation for the sport that we do. This is someone who needs no introduction, but I'm going to give him one anyway. This is a 9 times Masters champion of the Masters. You know, Master is already here to be a champion of the bruh. Come on, man, levels. On top of that, man's also gone to European indoors, done his thing there. Couple medals here and there, couple championships here and there. 60, 200, diversify. You know what I'm saying, keeping the stock healthy. And then going past all of that, being an athlete and competing, he's now gone on to set up an academy, the Be Fit Today Track Academy, I believe. Yeah, see, I'll do my things. Head coach, CEO, CFO, every
All the titles. Director of sport.
I'm saying, so it's the one and only Mr. TJ Ossai. Can we give him a little? I'm saying,
In the building, man.
Thank you.
TJ, how are you today?
I'm awesome.
That's
I'm
good.
awesome.
That's what. See,
Even better for
awesome.
being here, you know?
Jeez, it's because of you, Rich. I'm telling you.
It's this guy, bro.
Just light up everyone's life. So what is it for you that you think has set you apart from the rest of your contemporaries and made you want to compete in the Masters events?
I don't know. I think it was just an organic transition for me, you know. I started athletics very late. And, you know, when you're at a certain age, you have a lot of responsibilities and, you know, your opportunities diminish in terms of your, you know, for me anyway, the chances to get to where I want to get to because, you know, you're working, you know, you need to get that money in, blah, blah, blah. And I found that I didn't really achieve what I wanted to achieve as a senior. So, you know, you start at 26, which is when I started, and then you're still learning the ropes. You know, you're trying to learn how to move, just the basics, something you would learn at 15, 16 without even thinking about it, right? I had no junior career. So you start to progress, you start to improve, right? But then you're running out of time, you know, you get an opportunity. Somebody told me, who was it? Mensa Elliott is another master athlete. He went Commonwealth Games for GB as a hurdler and as a world champion himself as a master. I saw him one day down in Stratford, right? And he was like, you know, you're ranked number 2 in the country and I think it was 200 or something like that. I said, in what? He goes, Masters. I said, what's that? And that old people, a bunch of old people running, you know? So I'd seen older people running and the perception was it's just a bunch of old guys running. Like, why am I going to want to run there? You know? But because as a elder senior athlete, you're still aspiring, you still want your Olympics. As delusional as it might have been at the time, you're still there. That's why you're doing it, right? You know, you want to get to your international championship. So Masters, you were kind of like, nah, blocking it out. I beg, leave me alone, you know. But someone telling me you're number 2 in the country. I'm like, let me check, you know. And I was like, okay. And he was like, well, I'm doing Masters. I've done it. And I knew he had been at a quite high level himself. Yeah. So I said, yeah, if someone like you's doing it, let me see, you know, let me give it a go. So then I started to chat to other people and I started to realise that a lot more people were doing it than I realised. Yeah. You know, my late good friend Jason Carty was doing it and he was schooling me about it. But at the same time, initially, I was thinking, is this a concession here? Am I accepting failure? You know what I'm saying? But in reality, it's not that. Masters athletes are elite in themselves because probably even more so because they have more against them. You probably got your family, you probably got businesses, probably squeezing in time to train, you know. So I embraced it.
I was watching, like I was saying to you before, the interview. What did he
With Darren Scott.
Yeah, with Darren Scott. And you were saying you always wanted to do athletics from a young age. Your father was an athlete. I think you said he had a record as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I kind of wanted to know how that inspired you to start the academy.
Great. For me, when I was young, many moons ago, I was brought up in Plaistow, East London, and you know, as a kid, I was always fast. Yeah, I wasn't the fastest in the school, but I was one of the fastest all the time, wherever I went. You know, with my peers. You know, if you race anyone on the football pitch, like on a Sunday, I was always one of the fastest. I knew I was quick, and my dad, being an athlete in Nigeria back in the day, when he had a record that was there for like 16 years, was a hurdler. But I used to watch Linford on telly, and I wanted to be like him because he was tall, and he used to be very serious. You know, I used to look up to him, and I just wanted to be an athlete, right? But you know, back in the day, there was no internet. I'm showing my age now. So eventually, I gave up, right? And you know, I didn't revisit it, you know, until I was much older. When I was about 26, I wanted it. You know, I stuck through it because it's something that I was desperate. Like I couldn't believe there was an opportunity to do that. So as I got older, I realised that actually 10 minutes away there was Newham Athletic Centre. All my life as a kid, I didn't know it was there. Right? There was a day I actually walked out of my house on foot, walked all around the neighbourhood, anywhere that looked vaguely like a big place. I will knock to see if there's that athletics track in there. There was one in Upton Lane, I remember. It was just on the corner. And I knocked in it and I went in there. They said, nah, it's just football. I was like, so where do these athletes train then?
Yeah.
I used to wonder, right? I didn't realise there was one right there, but I didn't know.
Yeah.
So as I got much older, the opportunity came to set something up in Dagenham. And, you know, I couldn't have been more excited because this is what I was dreaming. I used to walk outside. When I'm running in the field, I used to imagine someone just put him and say, you're fast, come and train here.
Yeah.
Just feel like a dream in my head.
Getting
One day
scouted.
someone's just going to see you.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when I had the opportunity to now bring youngsters, first of all, off the street, come and do something that I understand and that could potentially give you. So it's almost like I was living the dream through them.
Yeah.
Do you get me? So it was just simple for me. It was easy because I had the passion for it.
I find it interesting because in our sport, a lot of the time, coaches, I feel like obviously everybody has different aims. You got some people want to like personally be the one that brought that person to the podium. And do you know what I mean? But I think you're probably one of the only people in the UK, at least, that has developed a system that's trying to not micromanage. Not saying it like in a like not trying to downplay that, but like you're actually trying to have more coaches and work with more athletes. Whereas I feel like most of the time it's the opposite way. So like, why is that?
I can't be everywhere every time, right? And if you want to grow something, you have to be able to upscale somehow.
Yeah.
Right? And in order to do that, you have to have confidence in other people and give other people the same opportunity that you've got, right? And unless, it depends on what your goal is. If you're somebody who just wants to have micro athletes who I want to take all the way, then so be it. Even then you need to have some support, right? But if you're someone like myself who wants to develop grassroots athletics all the way up, I mean, it's not possible to do it yourself. It's just not possible. You have to train people up and empower them to be able to be kind of an extension of yourself, right? And allow them to do their thing. Of course, you educate them well, but at the same time, you know, I mean, we've got several hundred athletes. How can I manage them all myself? It's not possible. So, you know, and in a sense, they understand my ethos, and I make sure that it's a uniform ethos, so they know what I'm trying to do. And it's not a TJ thing. It's not a TJ show. It's about the academy. You know, it's about the athletes. You know, I try to make it as little about me as possible, because, okay, what if I'm not there?
Yeah.
Then he can't run. Do you know what I mean? It's about them. That's how it should be.
Do you have like a overall? So let's say we're looking at this in like 10 years. We're looking back on, or we're looking at the progress that the academy has made. Is there like a goal that you're working towards with the academy, or like a vision that you have for the academy on a whole?
Well, yes and no. Yes, in the sense that, of course, you have to have a goal. You know, you want to grow, you want to develop, you want to have the best athletes in the world. You want some athletes, you know, to take it all the way, right? But at the same time, it's going to develop organically. And, you know, I'm not one to set limits on anything, right? But without a doubt, from where I come from, as an athlete myself and somebody who's ambitious, I want someone to go Olympics. I want someone to make GB team, right? You know, I want them, because that's their dreams now. Speak to them. What do you want to? I want to go Olympics. So why would I not want to progress that? I want to. I didn't go Olympics, so hopefully I will get somebody there, or, you know, a certain crop to that point at some stage. So we work with kids from age 5 upwards. So of course the system is very different across the board, top down, down up. 5-year-olds are doing fun stuff, you know, working on coordination, games, keep them engaged, but you're still teaching them basics. Then they grow up, you go to the next level, you know, they start competing, you know, mini-thon, blah, 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 you know, multiple events. And as they get older, you know, they start looking on Power of 10.
Yeah.
You know, you got all those different echelons, you know, and then you got some who are now going to nationals, going to English schools, right? Then you have under 20s, you have those who say, right, I want to go World Juniors. Yeah. I've got, you know, then my highest level now, of course, we've got some seniors, but in terms of at the highest performance, you've got some under 23s who potentially could be knocking on that GB door. 10-4. You know, if that gets to 10-2, then straight away we're already knocking on that door. And hopefully we have that lot at the top, next one, and they're all looking upwards. You know what, I want to be there.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So that's how I see it. But I'm not God, you know. Things will develop and you'll adapt accordingly, and you pivot, and you know, but ultimately, so long as we're going that way, that's what I'm looking at.
And even just to piggyback off that point, so my brother trains with you. My brother Jaden trains in your group, and whenever I see him leave for training, I notice something, and it's something that I don't think have ever personally experienced. And it's like, he'll come in from school, right? He'll be wearing school clothes, whatever. Obviously, I've been a benefactor of a lot of kit over the years, so I have things. I'll be like, I just throw him a little Nike top, a little Adidas top, or brand that shall not be named top. I know what you're doing, we all thing, even though sometimes you be wearing that thing, but I digress. And instead of opting to wear that, he'll always be leaving in the BFit kit. And it's like, when you see the BFit kids, whether that be at Dagenham or Lee Valley, wherever you see them, everyone has this unified sense of belonging to the same group. And this is even going to touch on what we were talking about similarly with Aiden. Like you said, you got kids that are anything from 5 to 21. And they all look like each other. They're all wearing the same stuff. They all have like, oh, if I'm 5, I can see the 7-year-olds. I want to be like that. If I'm 7, I can see the 13-year-olds. I want to be like that. I'm 18, but I'm training alongside 21-year-olds, and we're like, it's not he's better than me or he's different to me. We're all cut from the same cloth. We're all singing from the same songbook, and like that is a thing that I don't think exists a lot in an individual sport like track and field. You've created what seems like from the outside anyway, a unit, like a team of people that is working towards a common goal. That's beautiful.
Absolutely, and this is the aim. You know, at the end of the day, you know, you want to feel like you're part of something. You know, we want to create unity, as you said. It's about feeling that I'm not better than you, you're not better than me. You know, you might have the latest Nike or whatever kit. You know, I might not be able to afford it, but we all wearing the same kit. We all look the same. You know, as you said, the 5-year-olds can look up to the 18-year-olds and say, "Rah, I want to go that way," you know. And you know, as you said, he puts it on. He now knows he's going to train. It means something. You know, you're part of this collective, and the coaches wear it. You know, you see me wear it all the time, so you know that it means something. Respect, discipline. Because you know, discipline is a key factor to the approach there. So once you wear it, you become that person. Yeah, you understand, and hopefully that character rubs off on you in life. Because my aim is not just to create the best athlete, but to create, you know, a brilliant human being for society. Yeah, you understand? Because all the skills you learn from track and field, or from this unit anyway, hopefully will carry over. You know. So, you know, we don't do like coming late, right? If you're late, there's a repercussion. So hopefully, after a while, you're somebody who just doesn't go. Because when let's say you do this for 5 years and you decide to move on to something else, you'll have those traits in you, right? Yeah. Those are sort of things that we want to instill in all these young people who come from different backgrounds at home. And a lot of the time, or some of the time, the home environment is not necessarily ideal. So some skills that they don't learn at home, you will learn it here, you know? And we're a very big part of the educational process as well. Make sure that your studies is going well in alignment with your athletics. You know, there's times when I do go to some of their schools and just make sure if they're having issues, if there's been a complaint, and you know, I would go in and you know just have a meeting with the head teacher and just make sure that side of the life is progressive also.
That's something that I think sometimes is difficult to balance. That like making sure that someone's athletic progression and like life, human being progression is trending in the same way, because ultimately anything can happen. Like one, there's only like 2 spots in every event on the team every year, and 2, you don't know. So yeah, it is definitely very, very important.
No, but at the end of the day, it has to be one and the same, right? If you can't be one way in the track and another way outside track. You know, I saw the last interview with Aiden, and you were talking about lifestyle, right? You can't be this. I think you're talking about social media, right? You can't have all the time to do something, but yet you want to be a great athlete. You can't be indisciplined. You can't lack progress in life, but yet think you're going to progress, because it's the same mindset that you need across the board. So, you know, you want your school to be going well. You want your you can't be someone who parties till 3 o'clock. Right, and think you're going to be the best athlete. All of that stuff.
Why does the guy look at me, bro?
I'm just saying, man, you can't be someone that parties till 3 o'clock, man.
What, do I do that?
I don't know. Do you?
This guy's violated.
No, listen, you've got to live life, right?
Yeah, of course.
But there's got to be a balance. Yeah. And if you know you might get away with it for a while if you're really young.
And that's the thing, I think.
It will catch up with you.
That's the thing. You can get away with being in discipline or for a little bit. You might have, you know, a little breakthrough season, but it's not going to last.
It will catch you.
It's not
because discipline is discipline. If you lack discipline doing something outside the track, guess what? When you're in the track, right, and you need to execute, that takes discipline. Yeah. At some stage, you will not execute because you lacked discipline in that run. Yeah. Or you tensed up when you shouldn't have, or you didn't warm up properly. That's discipline. Discipline is discipline. So that's why it's got to be uniform. It's got to marry across the board.
And it's so interesting because obviously all of us are athletes. All of us are from black households, and all of us have siblings. So it's like you can see how different things manifest in different people in different ways of their life. So that's why, like, he might not even like me for doing this, but I don't care. So when my brother was like, "Oh, I want to do track and field," I was like, "Nah." I said, "Nah, you gotta leave that alone." He was like, "Why?" I said, "I've done it, and I want you to be your own person. I don't want you to be like, you don't have to be a carbon copy of me. Do your own thing." He was playing rugby at the time. He's quite tall. Like, he's taller than me anyway. I was like, yeah, just go do something else. Put on a little bulk, something. Go play, be a wing off or something. You know what I mean? Like, do something else. I said, there's no bread here for you, bro. Like, allow it to stop. There's nothing here for you. But he's now going into it and he's enjoying it and he's performing well and he's making improvements and training, all of that. And I'm like, this is wonderful. But he's still, to me anyway, he's still a child. So he's becoming grown, and I can see the changes that are happening in him as a result of having to be disciplined because he wants to do education and athletics at the same time. But like little things, bro, the competition that we were doing, me and him, I didn't talk to him about that competition all week. I didn't want to try to get in his head. I didn't want to do nothing about it. I wanted him to go execute and have fun. That's it. On the day of, I was like, look, obviously I'm leaving, or the night before, I said to him, because we used to share a room, I said, G, I'm going to be there from this time, because this is the time that gives me an hour to be there before, to talk to TJ, set up with Rich, whatever they need to move stuff, whatever. Calm. Me, I'm not running. I'm just talking. I don't have to warm up to talk. I'm chilling. I do that my whole life. Cool. I said, what time are you getting there? He said, oh, I'm getting there at X time. I said, cool, say no. I wake up in the morning, I'm chilling. I've rolled out of bed, my boxers are I'm just whatever, I'm coming, I'm just, sprawl out, anything, I'm looking at him and he's sleeping. I'm like, all right, cool, say that. So clearly you don't need to be there because the 100 starts a little bit later. Cool. I literally went to the bathroom, I think I brushed my teeth, I came back, man's doing bare thing. I said, yo, what on? He was like, like, they changed the time of the triple jump. I said, what does that have anything to do with anything? You're not doing the triple jump. He's like, oh yeah, I am. I said, so it's now you're panicking to go and do triple jump. You didn't know, you didn't check the thing the night before, you didn't come and do, like, why are you not, and I was going to get angry, and I was just like, okay, because it's your journey, it's your own journey to make, and I don't know how the triple jump went, so I don't know anything like that, but I do know that when I saw him warming up for the 100, bro was locked in. I said, okay, cool.
Yeah, as you said, everyone's on their own journey, so I think it's just something that you learn over time. A lot of athletics, you just learn over time. Like, oh, maybe I do need to get to this meet half an hour early. Maybe I should just put this in my bag just in case I want to use it. So, And
I guess, like, because, like I said, we have a lot more experience than the athletes who are coming out, or younger athletes, or people who are just starting. These things are now second nature. Like, do you have food in your bag for the day? Like, do you have nuts? Do you have sweets? Do you have these kind of... Pause. Come on, man.
why?
I had to finish it. I had to finish the nuts. But do you have these things in your bag? Are you prepared? Do you... Even before we came in, obviously you see how I'm dressed today. I'm wearing shorts and t-shirt. T-shirt was like, you're brave. I said, yeah, I know. Like, I know better than this, but I was feeling myself. But when you go to a competition, do you have the appropriate clothing? Have you brought leggings in case it's cold? Have you
even training, like
that kind of stuff? Yeah.
Training, really, you should have all that stuff. But you learn that because one day you go to training and you don't have something you need, and then you're like, I need a bigger bag.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
So it just happens over time.
Well, your brother's a smart kid. He asks a lot of questions.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? When you ask questions, you're more likely to get answers. So I think with you there as well, I think at a later stage, when he gets to a certain level, hopefully, I think your advice will be very useful for him because you've got there. You've gone to top level. And I think having a brother like you, excellent.
This is, weirdly enough, this is what Chad was saying to me on Wednesday. He was like, oh, I wouldn't be where I am today if not for you and Rich. I said, oh, crazy. But
yeah, I think that's like,
makes sense.
Yeah, and that's kind of why with this podcast as well, we want to give people information. So like the same way that you gave me information, we gave him information, so on and so forth. It's just about sharing information. So I was even going to ask TJ, in terms of athletes, what would you say? I don't want to like give like a vague advice, but like, what's something that you think athletes need to know that they may not know, or they may not, like something that you wish you knew before as an athlete?
I would say losing is okay. Sounds weird. Sounds weird, right? Because I've told some of my athletes that, right? Because there's a fear of failure. Ultimate fear of failure is what makes you nervous, right? If you look at human nature, we don't want to fail. Okay, so what is failing for you if I don't win? Okay? But guess what? There can only be one winner. So at some stage, you will lose a race. It's inevitable. So, but by no means go into a race looking to lose. The aim of a race is to see who comes first. It's a race to win, right? But if you don't win, as in if you don't come first, then you analyze it, you accept it, and you bounce back. Okay, cool, you beat me this time. And what I do if I've lost a race that I feel I could have won, it hurts. You shake the hand of the winner, like really congratulate them, so you feel it more, right? And then next time you know what to come back to do. But losing, I mean, the best champions have become champions as a result of their failures.
Yeah.
So you learn more from losing than winning. So for me, for youngsters coming up, it's an understanding of what is losing to you. Is it not winning, or is it not executing, or is it time? What is it that is your version? What is your actual aim? Because if your only goal is to come first, then if it's an 8-man race, it's a 1 in 8 chance. Do you understand?
And something like that, I think, like with, I think we've spoken a bit, I don't know if on camera, but like, even sometimes, as you said, you learn more from losing that. And a lot of the times as a junior, sometimes, or like a young athlete, when you're in your age group, you might be winning all the time and not learning.
Yeah.
So when you do take those losses, it's important to really analyze and get back and think back to yourself. Okay, what did I do wrong, or what do I need to work on, and not just brush it off or make an excuse. It's important to be accountable,
100%,
and actually look at, okay, I need to do this. That's how you're gonna.
And also put it in perspective.
Yeah.
Because you could lose a race and you think, you know what, it might be April or May, and then you lose a race and you think, oh Lord, that's it. Because some of the kids, like for example, you might have maybe 2 kids who are maybe number 1 and number 2 in their age group, and they have a race and then one beats the other one. He's beating me, so that's it. Actually, no. Put things in perspective of where you are in your training program, where you've come from, what you may have done wrong in that race. There's many factors, right? And in the real sense of things, if you look at, we look at milliseconds in time, right? You just need to change one small thing and it's a different race.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's just about putting things in perspective, really. So young people, because they're so fast, they hate losing, and of course I hate losing too.
Yeah.
But understand that losing is part of winning. It's
part of the process.
It's part of the process of winning. So you got to lose to win.
Rich, do you have a loss, or like a string of losses, or a cluster of losses that like really stand out to you as like, yo, I learned so much in that period of time?
The main one for me was when I didn't go, one year I didn't get to go to English schools, 2013, I remember. Like, I struggled to cry, so I didn't get to cry, but I tried to cry, like, hard. And I didn't get there. After that, that's when I started training with my dad, and I said to him, yeah, like, oh yeah, and that was the season when I raced you at Lee Valley.
Oh.
And,
yeah.
well, I didn't race you. We was on the line together. And then you killed me. But after that, I was like to my dad, yeah, I need to take this. I need to just, like, tell me what we need to do, because I can't do this no more.
Yeah, no, I feel you. I can't go through this.
So we just started, when we started working.
No, that's
what about you?
big. Oh, I have a whole year that I cite for like that. So, well, yeah, like a year and a bit. So 2015 to 2016 was an interesting time for me. So this is coming off the back of World Juniors. I've just gone to America for free. So in my head, I'm thinking, yo, this is crazy. Like, I've gone to Nike, I've done this, whatever. Obviously, I come back. That's the year we got signed to Adidas. So I'm thinking, oh, I'm on top of the world. Like, this is great. But like you said earlier, sometimes you're winning and you're not learning anything. You're not learning what needs to be done. And I was around people who were just as good as me, but I just happened to be in the right place at the right time doing the right things. First race. Bearing in mind, my PB is like 10.4 at this point. I think I ran like 10.5, 10.6, plus 2.1 or 2.7. I'm like, this isn't right. Let me go again. And this is at Bedford. This is the day that we turned up to, for context, we turned up to Bedford. It was big Bedford International Games. Turned up wearing all this new Adidas kit, all shuku, walking around wearing new spikes, had a headband on. I ain't got no hair. Like, it's all crazy. And I remember this thing, I'll never forget this. We walked out like we were about to go race, and Richard's dad came over to him and said, take that shit off. He didn't swear because he's a very classy man. But he was like, yeah, take that off. You're not going out there like that. You're not racing like that. That all of this headband and arm sleeve and all that has nothing to do with what you need to go and do right now. You need to execute. And we both didn't, I feel like it's fair to say, we both didn't execute that day. It was terrible. But we've come back now, and Coach Ryan has laid into us. And so Wretch is like, cool. Wretch has taken this and been like, all right, cool. That cannot happen. Cool. So I've gone to Loughborough with another athlete that we train with, Theo Etienne. And they basically said to us effectively, like, look, this is going to be, you lot are like the pool for the relay team. And we don't know who's going to be in the relay as of yet. Still early doors. Some of you done some amazing things indoors. We're going to put you all in a race, see what happens.
Wow.
It's cool. So we're all in the, I think it's like effectively a race off for the relay sports. We had some other people that weren't really in that as well, but it was whatever. So we've gone down. I think we all ran something like very mid, maybe like 10.5 again, 2.1, 2.4, whatever. And we're just like, I'm looking at myself like, yo, what is going on? Like, why is things not clicking? What's going on? What's this ridiculous? I'm losing to people that I shouldn't be losing to. In my head, I'm the guy. Cool. Go to another race. Windy time, 10.5. I said, it needs to stop happening. It's happened 4 times. And I remember I was driving so my coach, we lived on campus. So Ryan's picked us up and we're driving to Lee Valley in the car. And we haven't really said anything. We weren't really talking about anything. We're just having airy conversation. And we started pulling up closer to Lee Valley. And he was just like, how you feel today? I was like, yeah, I feel alright. Just whatever. He was like, cool. Like, you know you need to do something today, right? And I was like, yeah, cool. So I've gone now, boom. I think I've ran the first race and I ran like 10:42 or something. So it's PB off the bat. I'm like, okay, cool. Everything that I've had for all these 4 races, I'm getting bullied, getting battered, going back to training, working on this, working on that. This is what happens when I take it seriously. Because at this point, I'll be so real with you, I wasn't taking it seriously at all. I was doing foolishness. If you ask these men, they'll tell you. Like, there's some things I don't even want to say on camera because it's like, no, I'm saying it's bad. Like, I'm going to races. At the day of the race, I'm with gal. I'm not locked in at all. But that day, I said, look, I just turn my phone off. I'm going to do this. I'm going to get this done and making sure it's done right. 10:42, boom, cool. Come back again. 10:39, cool. Boom. And I was like...
No, I saw it was 38.
Sorry, yeah, it was. Sorry, 38. And I was like, so this is what happens when you actually lock in and take things seriously. Right, cool, got you. It's never going to happen again. Granted, that happens. You slip up sometimes. You make mistakes, but you see the effect of the discipline you have on yourself. Not because someone told me to do this. Just because I had to pattern up.
So you kind of had to go through that to experience it to know how you needed to be. Because
until that point, and like I said, now I'm not actively in it. I can look back on it with a bit more of a wider perspective. Until that point, everything I touched just worked out for me. Like I'm just a very fortunate guy. I never had to go through the struggle of like, I never really I didn't make the English schools team. When I couldn't make English schools, when I didn't make English schools, I was young. I was 13 years old. Okay, it's fine. I'll go for it the next year. I went for it the next year. I won the competition. I've never gone to English schools. Well, before that point, I went there my first time, and I won in a PB. I PB'd 3 times at the competition. So things are just happening easy for me. 2012, I'm racing in the Olympic Stadium. I had a bad race. I get a bronze at the UK school games. My family's there. I'm like, this is a win for me. I don't even care. These men are older than me. They're 2 years older than me or a year older than me. It's fine. 2013, going to World Youths. Like, all these things are just happening very easy for me. So it's just like, it was 2015 where I was like, oh shit, you have to work for this stuff. It doesn't just come. Things don't just come. And then it happened into 2016. People were like, oh yeah, you know, you're running 10-3 now. If you have a nice good season, you're knocking on an Olympic relay team right there. Cool. I'm like, yeah, I'm seeing the lights already. The year comes and I got bullied. Absolutely eviscerated. Every single race I went to was getting touched for the whole year. For the whole year until the day of his World Junior final. The day of his World Junior final, we were at Lee Valley. So it was me, Theo, Paige, Fairclough. I think that was just the three of us. And we're watching. Shout out Paige every time. We're watching the race. The races on the phone. We're warming up for our own races.
Wow.
So we're warming up. I'm like, no, but this is important. Like, this is our guy. So let's see what happens. So we've seen the semi-finals. And Wretched, I think you were fastest loser in the semi-final. So we're like, all right, cool. He's in the spot right now to make it to the final. This will be his second international consecutive final. Like, that's so cool. Like, so good to see. And I think you must have 10-3 to make that final.
37.
37 to make the final. So, all right, cool. There's a semi-final after him now. And Oliver Bromby, shout out Ollie, is in that semi-final. And he's run the exact same time.
He might have run 37 as well, yeah.
Run the exact same time. But I think on the thousandths, Wretch has made it. So we've seen that happen now. And we're like, all right, cool. Bearing in mind, me and Theo are Wretch's seniors. So we're like, how can we, in good conscience, be trading with this guy and trying to make sure, yeah, like that's little bro, that's bro. And he's outperforming us. We can't run.
This must come to a stop.
But we had all of this conversation without saying a thing. We just looked at each other. Literally, Theo looked at me, and I don't know if people know Theo, but Theo has this very like angry face. Like he looks like, you know what I mean? He's a happy guy, very jovial. So he was just like, yeah, and walked off. I didn't see him until the race. Race comes now. Theo, 10:23. Ruben, 10:30. And we're just like, so that's what it took. Again, sometimes you have to remember it's work. And we've seen, when you see someone work firsthand, you've seen Rich go through everything he's gone through to get to that point, to be in the fastest his age in the world. And we're like, no, there's no way. There's no way I can be around someone. And this is coming back to why it's so important that you have a unit with these athletes that are training. Because you look at someone like, bro, I see bro get here early every day, do what he needs to do his pre-stuff, do the session, stay later, do the abs, do this, do that. He's getting home late and I've seen the results. Okay, cool. So that's what it takes for me to get to there. I'm there with you.
So it's like certain things, you need that loss to just trigger.
Absolutely.
But I mean, ideally, you got to find something.
Beforehand.
But sometimes you need that moment to just,
Yeah,
you know what I'm
because
saying?
that moment that means a lot to you at that point. Further down the line, there'll be a bigger moment that really that loss will be preparing you for, which is actually better.
Yeah.
For you to win that one later on down the line.
100%.
So yeah, for sure, man.
I wanted to ask, like, with the meet, I feel like the Beefrick Grand Prix right now, that barking meet has taken over. There was a rain when it was Lee Valley, then it was Newham. I feel like personally, since Newham's moved, it hasn't been the same. And right now, it's barking. That's where, if you're a sprinter, especially, we've seen some big times there. You know, Tommy, Ramel,
Adam Thomas,
a lot of guys. So that's where it's at right now. And I think, as we've spoken to you about, you care about the athletes, and it shows in the performances and the meet. So what made you think, you know what, I want to put that meet on?
To be honest with you, a lot of things I do just come from my passion. So with the academy growing, you know, I wanted to put on a competition for our athletes first to run. So I put on a meet. It wasn't licensed, it's just a meet for my guys to compete. I think that was 2018. And we just had hand time, coaches just timing it. We had the different age groups, give them numbers so they can do their own competition. Young, you know, I'm talking about 8-year-olds, 9-year-olds, all the way up to about 14. And I was like, they loved it. The parents loved it. They got to compete. We made it so serious that they were working up to it. They're training for it, right? So getting that across the line was great. So they wanted it to happen more and more often, but they didn't realize how hard it was to organize that. Do you know what I mean? They just see the results there. I was like, oh no, what have I done? You know? So then I just started to kind of open up my eyes at other meets and just seeing what they were doing. And I just wanted to, there's things that I didn't like, you know, not naming any meets in particular, some things I didn't like in my experience when I competed, circumstances that I thought could have been better. You know, you go to races and you're running to -4 and, you know, just a bit somehow, you know. So I just figured, listen, what would be the ideal situation if I went to America it was 2011, 2010, I can't remember. And I just saw that they always turned it around. You know, where the wind is going is where they will run. Why? Because they want the best for the athletes. They care about the athletes. So, and me being an athlete myself, you know, and knowing what, you know, knowing the pulse of it all, everybody wants to run with a win behind, even if it's +4.
Yeah.
You know, let's say you're a 10-2 man and you're on with a +4, you're on 9-9. I don't care if it's +4.
It's still happy.
9-9.
You've run 9-9.
Yeah.
And you boost your confidence and you've done it. So for me, it was just to deliver what the athletes want. You know, create an environment conducive for good performances. You know, it always felt to me that it was always set up against the athlete all the time.
Yeah.
You know, the UK competitions, it was either raining or it was headwind, or, you know, it was just not conducive. And when I had my athletes, when they go race, say, oh, it's -2. I'm like, you know what? Can I do it? Is it possible?
So, is this what do you see like with this? Is it would you something? So it's an open meet at the moment, but is it something that you do want to become like a Grand Prix type of meet, or do you think you'll keep it as a like?
So at the moment, it's an open meet, right? And we've managed to successfully attain some level 2 licenses for our last couple of meets, and hopefully the upcoming one on May the 1st and May 20th potentially could be level 2, which will now mean that athletes can come and compete and use their times, which will be ratified for international qualifications, etc. The aim now is to make it as good as possible as it is, but potentially to grow. Like as I said to you earlier on when you asked me about the academy, I'm always aiming up, right? But, you know, Grand Prix, yes, it's Diamond League style thing is always going to be great, but it comes with its own complexities, you know. Yeah. So I'm not saying it's a no, but without a doubt, we want to have our own type EAP type thing in the UK at some stage. And, you know, I'm not trying to, you know, run before I can walk, but definitely have a high ambitions of taking this event further, you know. But number one is for the athlete, you know, so long as it suits the athletes and athletes can run with a good wind and it can be nice and organized so that, you know, people feel a nice, because it's all about the psychology. When you go to a competition, it's about how you feel, right? Time, you know, the race is going on time, you know, the setup, the vibe, the ambience of it, knowing you're going to have following wind, all of that stuff. So the aim is to take it as far as possible, you know, in terms of the Grand Prix status, ideally, yes, you know, a nice stadium. Obviously, it might mean moving stadium because you moving venue because you need seating status to achieve those levels. But that's where we're looking to, at some stage, hopefully achieve that. But as of now, as you can see, with regards to getting the status we want, level 2, it's not that easy because of the complexities with regards to officials and stuff like that. So once that aspect of things improves, where it's not so much of an issue, then of course you can push it up. But at this point, we're keeping it as it is. We just want to make it better and better and better, so that athletes want to go there, and then that next stage will come in due time.
I think it will. I think it will get better. Just firstly because of who you are and how you work, and like you said, you're always aiming upwards. And then secondly, because I heard that like there's some 2 commentators that are gonna do little something for the meets. You know what I'm saying? I heard they did a little right thing.
Well, this is it. This is all part of augmentation of what we're doing, right? We want it to be better. Costs us more money, but so what? And it's not just that talk about the live streaming, right? It's about making it better for the athletes, for athletics, right? Because at the end of the day, athletics needs to come out to the world, you know, to the world away from athletics, right? And when we have characters like yourself, you guys are on point. You know what I mean? Have you commentated? The last one was great. We had good feedback. So that in itself makes it unique. That makes it better. That makes it different. People can follow it. Do you know what I mean? So I think those are just little signs that we're trying to do things different and better.
Yeah.
Regardless of the expense, yes, it may cost you more initially, but in the long run, it's a better product.
For sure.
For sure. I feel like we've had a wonderful conversation with you, TJ.
Definitely, man. Thanks for coming through as well. I know it's a long journey.
Busy man.
Definitely
man.
appreciate it.
Listen, when I got the call, you know, it's like getting a call to, you know, you made the team. You know? I was like, what? I'm on the pod, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, I must be doing something all right.
100%.
Had to, man.
So I
Had to.
appreciate the love, guys.
100%,
Big
man.
respect.